Bobul is asking, Kamala Harris has expressed support for Kashmiri self-determination, and her niece has criticized Hindu nationalism. How do you see this playing out in India, U.S., Pakistani relations? So,
yeah, well, that's an interesting
Indian
one.
background. Yeah, she's an Indian background. She's got a Hindu background, and she is anti-Hindutva. That's not a surprise.
That's not a surprise. And this is the reason why a lot of Hindutva people hated her even before that. They were going for Trump. I was like, when I first saw Kamala Harris, a lot of Pakistan, there was a real time the shivers down their spine when they realized Kamala Harris has got Indian roots, because a lot of Pakistanis were jealous, angry. They're like, oh shit, now there's an Indian going to be in the White House. Like how our Desi people think, and they were like, oh, but then as we worked out, she's a far leftist, and she's a woke, wokistani basically. So we realized that Hindu nationalists started hating her, and Pakistanis started loving her, and I think it's just her niece has criticized Hindu nationalism. I don't think anyone would ignore Hindu nationalism. We all criticize Hindu nationalism. Kashmiri self-determination is going a bit too far, coming from in any official capacity, I think. My opinion has actually evolved on that. I mean, I used to oversimplify as well, and I say, well, let people do whatever they want. If they want to be separated from a union or a federation, give them a right to do so. But I think it's a little bit more complex than that. By the way, and I recently found out in the United States, when Texas and all these other states became a part of the United States in the 19th century, they actually signed, I don't know, it doesn't matter eventually, but they said under no circumstances you would ever be able to separate from the United States of America. So, which is fine. I mean, no country becomes a country with the intention that, okay, but
a lot of people are regretting that when it comes to Texas. But anyway,
it's very, very small.
By the way, the live chat is pointing out that Kamala Harris is not really woke. Yeah,
I don't know.
No, she's not. She's a liberal sort of left person. I mean,
she's not. Okay, fair enough. I mean, I would say only. I think I would definitely say Biden is a classical liberal. He's even a God-believing liberal. But Kamala Harris, I don't know. I think that that lady scares me.
Really? I think they're both kind of on the same page. I don't think it's. I mean, she has pronouns in her bio and stuff. I mean, if you think
that's fine.
I'd freak out about that. I don't think that. I've never thought that was such a big deal. But in any case, so there's that question. I think that and so I want to ask you about Biden as well. Okay, so we had this conversation, Armin and I. The last couple of times we did the episodes, we were talking about how the pressure that they put on the Saudis actually worked, because the Saudis are vulnerable to U.S. leverage right now. They're kind of not in a good position, so they banned the paused the arms sales to Saudi Arabia. They have he's withdrawn support for the Saudi war in Yemen, and Lujain al-Hathloul, he's out of prison.
Yeah,
right.
His latest comments on China wasn't good though.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think that the China thing he's navigating in all kinds of different ways. And then you have this pressure on Pakistan about this, like you're saying, it's actually working, the U.S. pressure when it comes to Daniel Pearl's killers. How do you think this bodes for the future of the whole Biden administration?
I think it'll be business as usual, though. I think in terms of Pakistan, it's not going to make much difference. I think even the Daniel Pearl thing, this is a very low level thing on a larger scale. Again, because the United States doesn't have any leverage in Pakistan because there's never been any trade, foreign direct investment. The only relationship they've had is obviously the United States being the superpower. Is whatever pull they have is through economic sanctions, and that's the only thing they've used in the past against Pakistan as well in the 90s with the nuclear crisis and all that. So I don't think that Pakistan would be guilty enough that any economic sanctions will be coming on Pakistan. But other than that, United States got nothing on Pakistan. And United States would also be worried about how much they would isolate Pakistan, and it would go further towards China. So all these things play out. So this is why I think it's definitely going to be business as usual. There's not going to be anything. Pakistan will be in the middle. Pakistan will be playing United States as well. And they also, another aspect is, that they wanted to get out of Afghanistan. So that they cannot do that without the support of Pakistan. So Pakistan knows they have, Pakistan's keeping the card very close to their chest. So that might be one of the reasons why they actually let go of Omar Sheikh, to poke and prod the incoming Biden administration, see what happens. Because Biden, again, is a more responsible politician, is a career politician. It's not like Trump, who in a fit of rage would, pick up
tweet out,
tweet out. So yeah, so I don't think so. Saudi Arabia is a different case because it's in the middle of a war. Saudi Arabia is heavily dependent on United States, so they can twist their arm a little bit more. But in case of Pakistan, I think it's going to be different. The only way they can actually poke Pakistan is by going further towards India. For example, going further in the nuclear deal with India, and yeah, so that's the only way. But again, even if Pakistan hadn't released this Omar Sheikh guy or hasn't been antagonizing United States on a smaller scale, United States, as I said, it's natural for United States to go.
Well, I mean, another leveraging thing is the U.S. gets closer to India. Pakistan could. Because, one of the reasons the U.S. used to give all the money to Pakistan is not because they wanted Pakistan 100% on their side. They just didn't want them to go over to China, right? I mean, so that's also another thing. There's still a little bit of a strategic interest.
Yeah.
Where, like you said, with the Afghanistan withdrawal and everything. So, are they, so there is this, the provocation thing, that one of the leverage things that Pakistan does have is that, okay, yeah, we're going to go with China. And the U.S. would rather have Pakistan 50% on its side than 100% on China's side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Hey guys, if you want to join these streams live, get your comments and questions read by Ali and Armin and the guests, and most importantly, to get full access to the full video versions of all these episodes, become a patron. Link in the description below.